In a highly anticipated fight coming up Saturday, November 6th, Saul Canelo Alvarez will be taking on Sweet Hands Caleb Plant in a 12-round super middleweight championship for the supremacy of the division as undisputed. This fight has a lot of spark to it, especially since the two came together a few weeks ago for their press conference, and there is bad blood. We hope that this will transfer into the ring as bad blood competitiveness between two champions who will earn the right to be called undisputed. Let's talk about it. The super middleweight division will soon be unified as undisputed after Caleb Plant and Canelo Alvarez meet on November 6th. This is a fight that boxing fans and pundits around the world are looking forward to. Canelo has a huge following in the sport of boxing. Even detractors follow him because they want to see what's next from Cinnamon. Caleb Plant is a man who has been looking for an opportunity to be the best at what he does. What he does is so good they call him Sweet Hands. We've had a chance to see these men in fights in the past. Canelo has a record of 56, 1, and 2 draws with 38 KOs. He has been around for a minute. His one loss coming to Floyd Money Mayweather, and he hasn't lived that loss down, which was so long ago. That was in September of 2013. But since then, Canelo has taken the mantle as one of the top faces in the sport of boxing. Caleb Plant, honestly, unless you're a devout boxing fan, has been in obscurity. He sought something special in the super middleweight division with the opportunity toward David Benavidez being in his sights. But Benavidez has had so many sidetrack matters that was some out of his control, some his own doing, that fight never came to pass. But when Canelo swooped down into the division to scoop up the belt that had been stripped away from Benavidez, he saw it as an opportunity to become another division champion and possibly have an opportunity for undisputed if he could make an arrangement with the other champion. And guess what? They were able to do so. Now we're going to see on November 6th, these two men unified for undisputed. The thing about this fight that is intriguing is you have two men who are quite similar in their styles, unbelievably so, but one just seems to have a little bit more mobility than the other. Caleb Plant, Sweet Hands, is a guy who can box, move, he has good pop on his punches, he has decent hand speed, he has a bit of a defense, but he does like to mix it up. He will be the type of fighter that can frustrate Canelo if he's able to do the things that are necessary to win. Canelo, on the other hand, has similar abilities with his hand speed, his precision in punching, the placement of his punches, and his overall ring IQ. Canelo has some of the best feints in the business and counterpunches in the business. Caleb is a decent counterpuncher, and he has tremendous feints as well. He has better footwork than Canelo, but this is the first time that he has been on this particular level fighting under these lights. And when I say this level, he's been a professional fighter, he's been a champion. But the thing about Canelo, he brings the stars out. And Caleb hasn't been under those type of circumstances before. It will be interesting how that impacts him, his psyche, going into the fight on fight night. But on paper, he is the anti-Canelo. He has the skill set to cause Canelo so many problems. With his hand speed, the fact that he can get in and out, the fact that he is pretty much a clean liver in the sport, meaning he doesn't get out of shape, he doesn't take drugs, he doesn't live the loose lifestyle. Caleb is a fighting fighter, okay? And there have been men that he wanted to fight that have not stepped in the ring with him. So he has had people avoid him as well. Now Canelo, on the other hand, is the cash cow here. But he's also a great champion. With the names that are on his record, having faced some not so great, some better than others. But what we can say about Canelo is this: each and every time out, he's able to break men down, make them fight his fight, get into their heads psychologically, and they don't compete at the level that he sets precedent for. And that's intimidation. A lot of times fighters will not admit to that, but that's exactly what it is. Canelo can apply pressure, he can box from the outside, he can stand in the pocket and slip and slide and dip and dap to make punches move and evade him, but he can counter with the best of them. And his counter punches are usually the ones that really put people in trouble. His punch placement is excellent. He has great snap on his punches. A lot of times when you see him drop people, it's from a great punch on the chin, a solid shot to the body, whether it be the floating rib, the solar plexus, or the liver shot. Canelo can deliver it all. And against Billy Joe Saunders, he showed he had a smashing left hand. He showed he had a smashing right hand, of an uppercut. The man is a complete fighter. He has his detractors, and reasonably so. He's popped dirty in the past for PEDs, clenbuterol to be specific, and instead of being punished for that, he was given a light suspension, and the sanctioning body that he fights for, the WBC, who have always been in his pocket, they decided to raise the level of clenbuterol, which really took the taste out of a lot of fans' mouths, because you have to punish guys when they pop dirty. That's the mark on Canelo. Not the fact that he lost to Floyd Mayweather. 49 others have lost to Floyd Mayweather. But the fact that he popped dirty, that's a blemish, and it can't go away. And in their presser, Caleb Plant brought this out. He exposed the fact that Canelo had been caught cheating and that he should be punished. He should be banned from the sport. Caleb Plant really got under Canelo's skin when he spoke about these things at the press conference, to the point that Canelo started swearing at him and everything, and then slaps and everything ensued when they came together for their face-off. But that's theatrics, that's hype for the fight. But Caleb was correct in the accusations that he had about Canelo and his camp. There have been some sordid things coming out of the Reynoso gym with his fighters, and several of them have issues. But Canelo is taking it personal. And in this fight, he said he's going to make Caleb pay for the things that he said. The thing about that is this: he told the truth. Now Caleb has to fight beyond the level of the words he spoke, because it's one thing to say these things and they be true, and to point it out and be the good guy to say, hey, that's a bad apple. But you got to be able to chew that apple up when you get your opportunity, so that you can show the world what happens to people like that. Is he up for that? We don't know. But his boxing skills on paper say that he's the man. He is capable of doing what needs to be done. And in this instance, when you have people who have a gripe against one another, there's no telling what type of fight this can turn into. But it could be very exciting if, one, Caleb can be defensive enough to give Canelo problems with his offense. Two, he has the confidence being in there for the first time under these bright lights. Three, that he can stay focused and implement his game plan, whatever they may be. I can speak of a game plan for him, but his people have that taken care of. I would like to see him box from the outside, stay behind his jab, use multiple combinations at Canelo, punching up and down to the body, up and under, and understand that Canelo is very good at slipping, bobbing, and weaving. So you have to use your feints, and Caleb is exceptional at that as well. For Canelo, with what he does well, he knows how to cut the ring down and to be able to walk a guy down and to make him fight his fight. The fact that he has done this to a number of fighters is no surprise. Some more gifted than Caleb Plant. I recall just when he took on Danny Jacobs, he made Jacobs fight his fight, and Jacobs ended up just settling in for a 12-round unanimous decision loss to Canelo. Jacobs didn't fight the type of fight he needed to fight. He should have used his athleticism. When he hurt Canelo a couple of times with the punches he was able to land, he didn't go for the kill. He didn't go in to try to test to see if he could do more damage. He stayed safe. I think that Jacobs was intimidated by the Canelo aura. And that's what we have to find out, if it's going to affect Caleb Plant or not, because that's the only thing that can prevent him from doing his best in the fight. There are other things that we could say, such as when the men get tired, if the fight goes into the middle to late rounds. A tired fighter doesn't always think clearly, and Canelo has the experience of being in those later rounds. What Caleb has to worry about also is, don't get headbutts, don't get cut up, don't get marked up. You have to be able to use your defense, because if a cut ensues or a headbutt or some kind, listen, you're fighting against Canelo, okay? They'll take the fight away from you. They can stop the fight if you're cut. They can stop the fight if he's cut. And they'll mess with those scorecards. I'm telling you, you have to be on all your P's and Q's. The best thing to do is, if Canelo tries to get close to you, when you tie him up, you wrestle him with strength, you push him, you show that you're the bigger man, which you are. Because Canelo is not that big, people. At only 5'7", the man is like a little guy, okay? They say 5'8". I'm giving him 5'7", okay? Now, Caleb, who's 6'1", by the way, show that you're 6'1". Use that 74-inch jab. Keep it right in his face. That 4-inch advantage can help you persevere here. But you have to fight with spirit. You have to fight with confidence. You have to fight as if you know that you belong there. Okay? It is imperative that you believe in yourself. The fact that you're accepting this challenge for all of these marbles, it's integral. Another thing you have going for you, Canelo is now 31, so he's on the other side of 30 now. Caleb is just 29, okay? Yes, a couple of years can make a difference in boxing, okay? So you have to be able to stick your jab, stay behind that, give angles, give those feints, make Canelo fall into traps, because he's definitely going to try to set a few for you. Understand that. For Canelo, you have to take the young buck to school. There's plenty of ways for you to do that. With almost 60 fights in your career, it's not hard to figure that out. So what you have to do as far as being Canelo Alvarez is stay the course. Have intent. Know that you have 12 rounds to work with, and that you're not the one that has to be nervous about anything. The opponent is the one that's going to feel the pressure. And understanding that, it assists you with your game plan. It's almost like you have an extra hand in the bout helping you out. People don't understand what that means, but you as a fighter do. The crowd is the third man, but the second man is the experience. When someone's feeling tired, when they need a breather, when they need to take a round off, you know how to pressure them through those circumstances. When you want to take a round off and remain poker faced, as you have one of the best poker face in the game, Canelo, the other guy may not necessarily be able to read that. So it's cat and mouse here. But this is a good fight because your styles mesh very well. And the one who remains disciplined, focused, and implements his game plan is going to be the man who's successful. I have to lean toward Canelo in that sense because of his experience alone. And that means something. But every once in a while, there's a prodigy who can break through and break the rules. Is this Caleb Plant? Will it be his night for that? Intriguing is the answer for this. I would like to see the best of both men because it would give us the best fight of this quarter of the year. Everyone knows that Canelo Alvarez fights a certain kind of way. He doesn't look like he's in a hurry, but he's always workmanlike in there. In a way that reminds of how Julio Cesar Chavez used to approach his bouts. And recently, Chavez says that Canelo is the man now. He's passed that Mexican merit onto Canelo Alvarez. Though their styles are nothing alike, but Chavez is just giving him credit for the success that he's had in his career. And that's understandable to have national pride in that regard. Caleb now needs to show his end of that the boxing skills that he brings are mindful of those from the past, the Pernell Whitakers, the Bernard Hopkins, the men who were seasoned, who could box, who could punch, who could fight, who could be on the inside, who could be on the outside, who could give angles, who could use their boxing ring IQ. Can he sum all that together for this fight and be successful? We hope that he can. But this is the fight that is going to either make or break Caleb Plant. Because if he can't win this one, there's pretty much nowhere else to go. So as you see, there's a lot of cards on the table in this instance for him. And when he gets in there to be able to compete with someone like Canelo, it's imperative that he understands that this is for all the marbles. You have to go for it, Caleb. Sometimes a fighter can fight above his abilities. On any given night, that can happen. Will that happen in this instance? We don't know. But Caleb has a lot of support. He has a lot of fanfare. A lot of people like the guy. And when I first saw him, I thought that he was a hell of a boxer from the first time I saw him. But can he take it to that next level of intensity that this fight is offering? I wish I had a crystal ball to look into it. Because Sweet Hands is the type of fighter that you love to support. He has a tremendous story, where he's coming from, why he's fighting, what he intends to do with his opportunities in boxing. He's a champion regardless, and he champions a lot of people who can relate to the circumstances of which he come from. I would love to see Caleb Plant win this fight. I would love to be able to have a fresh face in there at the top. But this is Canelo Alvarez, and unless he knocks him out cold, it's going to be difficult. I have to admit that. He has to know that. His people, his trainers, they have to know that. So to be able to get him in a position to be successful, they have to be prepared for anything and everything. A tremendous fight this can be. And what an opportunity, people. What an opportunity. Canelo says that it's personal now. And that's due to the presser, where Plant even slapped him a bit, talked about him being a cheater, said it to the press, said it to the public. So Canelo wants that get back. He wants to be able to shut his mouth by pushing his glove in it. And we want to see that. So at the end of the day, the man with his hand raised will be the one who comes out correct, so to speak, in these dealings. But that doesn't mean that that's the person who really is the victor. Huh? Let's just hope for a great fight. I could see Canelo walking down Caleb Plant and punishing his body and breaking him down in the late rounds, and Caleb not come out successful. I hope that is not the case, but I have to lean toward the more experienced fighter and the guy that everyone wants to question his sanctity in the sport. I see Canelo Alvarez winning this fight, whether it's by a stoppage or a decision. If it goes to the cards, it'll be close. Or then again, maybe not. It all depends on what Caleb wants to do in those later rounds. He can be a thorn, but will he have the sword that he'll need to slay this dragon? We have no idea, but we look forward to it because it's an exciting time in boxing when men are unifying titles. It's the best that the sport can offer at this time. Unifications. And we look forward to it. The more, the merrier. Huh? We look forward to these fights. We look forward to these guys unifying, becoming undisputed. That's what we live for in the sport of boxing. The best fighting the best. The best fighting the best. That's all we ask for, people. And we deserve it. When we tune in and pay our money for these matches, that's what we look toward. Can they deliver? Can they deliver to us that holy grail? One man, one face, one champion in one division. That's what we want. The best that boxing has to offer. Is it too much to ask? I don't think so. And if the fight is very good, you could be talking about a rematch. Rematches help support the sport as well. And it is something that I could see if it's that good. If it ends up controversial draw, they have to do it again. Would that be so bad? I don't think it's going to be an ugly fight. So being able to see these guys in a situation where they have to rematch one another, why not? You know, Ernie Banks used to say for the Chicago Cubs, let's play two. It's such a great day for baseball, let's play two. Well, we can do that with boxing, can't we? Play two. Just think about it. What an idea. I'll tell you this. Boxing wins when we have unifications that lead to Undisputed. I hope you're ready for it, because I am. This is Stormy B Man. Shout out to the LDBC, the Lions Den boxing community, and Liberated Perspective, a third eye view of the world. For more content such as this, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Leave some thoughts on this. When you see this fight, let me know what your thoughts are going in and coming out. You can come right back to this video, leave comments at the end of it. Stormy always puts it out there, and I always leave space for the intangibles, because nothing is 100% except for death in this life. I leave it that, and I leave you all with the greeting of peace, as my man KQKC says, and be safe out there. Until the next time we speak, peace to everyone. Enjoy the fight, and make sure you come back to the channel so we can speak on it more.